Everyone is talking about Miraidon EX, but is it really worth the hype? Roll the intro. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here back again with another Pokemon trading card game, Scarlet and Violet early deck list. Today I want to cover Miraidon EX partnered with Regieleki VMAX. Now I'm very excited for this deck. This is one of my most excited decks, archetypes to come out of the Scarlet and Violet sets. I think this deck is going to be very strong. I know some people are in that camp, some people are not. I personally think that this deck is going to be really strong, but also really fun to play, which is usually what I look at when I'm playing a deck, right? As long as it's fun and it's somewhat strong, I'm going to be playing it. So we're going to hop right into it here and take a look at what this deck can do. And it all is held together with Miraidon EX. Miraidon EX is a basic lightning type EX Pokemon with 220 HP. And it has that tandem unit ability. That is the glue. Like I said, that holds this entire deck together. Tandem unit reads, once during your turn, you can search your deck for 2 basic lightning type Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Just hassle free. Now, what you can basically do is get your entire board set up if you have one Miraidon EX in play. You can do Miraidon EX in tandem unit for another Miraidon EX and say something like Regieleki V, then use your other Miraidon EX to get 2 more Pokemon. And just, go so on, so forth, just like that. You can actually get your entire board set up, which I think is really strong. And what makes Miraidon such a good Pokemon, even if it's not in its own deck, like if you're using it to set up parts of like another deck, for example, or if you're using it in more of a toolbox style deck, you can use a single Miraidon to get a bunch of like Mareeps into play, for example, to evolve with the Flaffies. So I think that that's why Miraidon as a Pokemon is really strong. And now a lot of people, including myself, are pairing Miraidon EX with Regieleki VMAX. Regieleki VMAX is really strong. It's got 310 HP, free retreat, and that transistor ability, which reads your basic lightning type Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active. And now guess what Miraidon EX is? It's a basic lightning type Pokemon. So you can only imagine that this is a natural combo here. Miraidon EX's attack, Photon Blast, does 220 damage for 3 energy, and Regieleki VMAX, if you got 1 in play, you can put that up to 250. If you got 2 in play, you can put that up to 280, which is your magic number in this format, knocking out pretty much all V-Star Pokemon, and most of the EXs with like a power mod, for example. So that's why you are people are inclined to play Regieleki VMAX, let's just say that. And then we're rocking a 3-3 line of Regieleki V and Regieleki VMAX. Regieleki V is also a pretty decent attacker on its own with that lightning wall attack, because it does 100 damage and you take 100 less next turn. So that is also pretty cool. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and showcase the rest of the deck list here just for you all to see while I highlight some of the rest of the cards. We're playing a 2-2 line of Mareep and Flaaffy. Originally, I was very against playing Flaaffy in this deck, and I was like, you just play it as a high roller, you don't need any Flaaffy. But for the late game, you definitely need some Flaaffies. If you're going full Miraidon Lucky, if you're going a full build that is just based on attacking with your lightning Pokemon, you're definitely going to need a couple Flaaffies in there in order to consistently build up your Pokemon. And now for our other attacker, we have a attacker that's easier to use and is basically the best late game attacker that you could possibly think of in this deck, and that is Raichu V. Raichu V has that dynamic spark attack, which does 60 damage, and it reads, you may discard any amount of lightning energy from your Pokemon, and you do 60 times that amount. So basically, if you discard 2 lightning energy, say from your Miraidon EX, you're going to be doing 120 damage, and you can scale that really quickly when you have cards like Flaaffy, when you have some other cards like Electricity Generator that I'm going to talk about right now, and your manual energy attachments. You can do a lot of damage really quickly with a single Raichu V. And now, what is this Electricity Generator card you're talking about, you say? Well, Electricity Generator is a brand new item card coming out in Scarlet and Violet, and it's basically max elixir. It allows you to search through the top 5 cards of your deck. So look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find up to 2 lightning energy cards over there, and attach them to your benched lightning Pokemon in any way you like. So extremely powerful card. You can find, if you find more than 1 lightning energy, even if you find 1 lightning energy, you can start to power up your board really quickly and efficiently with this card, which I think is really cool. And it's balanced, because if you don't hit any energy, you're not gonna have a good time, right? So I think that this is a very powerful card, and is really what makes this deck so interesting to so many people. We're also playing 1 Luminion V to search for our supporters whenever we may need them. And as for our supporters, we're playing 4 Research, 3 Boss, 2 Avery, which I really like because it limits, decks like Gardevoir EX. It harms a little bit decks like Mew VMAX. It can be very, very strong in this deck. And we're also playing 2 Raihan. Raihan, I think, is probably my favorite card to play in this deck, because once you're in the late game and you have a Flaffy set up, whatever, you can just Flaffy, Raihan, and then attach manually and search for something else with your Raihan. So I think that Raihan is really, really strong in this deck because it can basically establish a Miraidon from nowhere, even if you don't have electricity generators on at the ready. So that's why I think Raihan is really, really strong and absolutely has a place in this deck. And then we have 1 Judge, just a little bit of hand disruption. Like I said, this deck isn't really concerned more so about your opponent's board. It's more concerned about getting itself established because it can really knock out anything your opponent throws at it. We're also playing 4 copies of Trekking Shoes, which is basically our draw engine for this deck. What I do find with this deck is that it can get clunked up quite easily because, we have a lot of energy, we got a lot of Pokemon, we do have a lot of supporters, but finding those supporters at the right time can be pretty challenging. So that's why we have 4 Trekking Shoes in here. I think Trekking Shoes is a very, very strong card in this deck. For our Pokemon search, we're playing 4 Ultra Ball and 2 Nest Ball. Very, very simple Pokeball count here, mostly because Miraidon EX gets you all your basic Pokemon anyway, so you only need 2 Nest Ball to find 1 Miraidon EX, and then you're good to go. The rest of your board to set up. So that's another thing I really like. Miraidon EX basically is self-sufficient to the point where you can fit other cards in your deck that actually can make it work as its own attacker. Now we're playing 2 Escape Rope in case we get trapped in the active for whatever reason, as well as 2 of the new Beach Court Stadium, which gives basic Pokemon 1 less retreat cost, which is very good for your Mareeps that only have 1 retreat cost, for your Raichu, for your Luminion, and for your Miraidon. In this deck, Regieleki V only has 1 retreat cost. Regieleki V Max has 3 retreat cost. The only card that this card doesn't benefit is the Flaffy, because it's an evolution Pokemon with 2 retreats. So getting your Flaffy stuck in the active is really, really not good. That's why we have our escape ropes here, so we can switch out of our Flaffies ASAP. And we're also playing 1 Palpad and 1 Forest Seal Stone. Forest Seal Stone is a very strong card in this deck because we have a lot of Pokemon V that are going to help our good pal Miraidon. So using that Forest Seal Stone, we can actually get our missing piece really quickly. Like, let's say we're searching for a Raihan, we just Forest Seal for a Raihan. Or if we need another electricity generator, we grab that electricity generator, or a Flaffy or whatever, we just grab it for free. And it just goes, we don't have another V-Star power we want to use, so it just goes right on to any of our Pokemon V and we're good to go. Now for our energy count, we are playing 13 lightning type energy. I know this seems like a lot because it is a lot, but you definitely do need this high of an energy count in order to make your sure that your electricity generators are actually hitting the lightning energy counts that they need to, and they're actually powering up your Pokemon efficiently enough that you at least want to hit 1 lightning energy per electricity generator. And when, like, what is that, 20% ish, a little bit less than 20% of your deck is lightning energy after you play a bunch of cards, you're gonna be doing decent. You're going to be doing decent, hopefully hitting at least 1 every time you use it. And that's pretty much the deck here. It's a very straightforward deck to play, very fun to play. It's very explosive. That's why I really like it. I know there's a build with Miraidon going around that has Klefki, because Klefki basically enables you to stalk opposing Lost Box decks, which is something this deck can really struggle against, as well as stop opposing Mew VMAX decks, because we don't play any Drapion V in here, because our solution to knocking out Mew VMAX is, well, just play another Regieleki VMAX. We run a 3-3 line anyway, so get 3 Regieleki VMAXs up in play, and boom, go off to the races with Miraidon EX. So yeah, that is basically going to be the deck tech for today. I am covering all these Scarlet and Violet decks. Now I'm very excited because I got a very special project coming up in a couple weeks that I think I'm really excited for, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy as the Scarlet and Violet hype season starts to come in full force. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed. Comment down below, what do you think of Miraidon EX and this Miraidon EX deck? What do you like? What do you dislike? What would you keep? And what would you change about this deck? I know personally, I'm thinking of trying to build Miraidon with more Flaffies and more leaning towards Ampharos EX, which we're also going to get in this set. But we're gonna have to see what kind of variant is good, and we're just gonna have to, you know, try and find the best way to play Miraidon. And subscribe to the channel, don't forget, because I post 2 new Pokemon trading card game videos every single week here on the Hitmonchan channel, as well as with a number of shorts that you can check out that are me covering each of the new EX Pokemon in depth as they are revealed. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hitmonchan out.